came in earlier than Loveness. Kalivute and Banda, they came in after Love. So these are some of the things. So that it's recorded on your page for them to calculate how many hours, or else they will deduct from you if you don't follow instructions when you are in connection of timekeeping. The second one is that we again have computation of total payroll. Computation of total payroll. Computation of total payroll. So we are saying that the same timekeeping that we had done here, how many hours? I remember that day, everybody, I calculated number of hours, is it? Yes, for us to remember. Then you take number of hours of each, then you compute in the payroll, how many hours. If Banda is getting, let's say, a 200 kwacha per hour, it means they're going to multiply by number of hours worked. And then Kalivute, if it's 300 kwacha per hour, it means they're going to multiply by the number of hours he has worked. So that is when we're talking about the second one. And then we have the other one, when we're accounting for labor, we also again have the, to allocate the payroll costs. 3, allocation of payroll costs. We have accounted how many hours that an individual's done. We have computed it, calculated the total payroll. Then we allocate. Allocation, as I said that everybody, for example, Banda is in accounts, Kalivute is in procurement, Khadija is in marketing, and Loveness is in human resource. So it means everybody, when they are budgeting for that year, it means they are given a certain amount that they should use within the year. And not only on one activity, but several activities. So they are going to allocate to the right activity that they are supposed to allocate. We deduct the amount from the allocation of that department, that particular cost center. I remember cost center came for the second attempts of costing. I asked what is a cost center, and all of this was what was there. So you allocate to the cost center that individual or that particular is working from. So you take that amount from his cost center. Understood? Any questions up to here? Khadija? Banda? Love? So we're saying that when we're talking about timekeeping, we talk about time card and labor job card, job ticket. So they're the ones that Loveness talked about that you sign on them to show that you're in for work. So those are some of the things. Time card or clock card that you just swipe. Okay, so those are some of the things that we should understand when we're talking about the labor. I have just explained partial, but don't forget that it's supposed to be known more. I sometimes do ask those. Here, as I've explained, you can't explain the timekeeping, but go and read for you to understand more. So that when it comes on an exam, you should be able to answer what is timekeeping, what is computation of payroll, what is allocation of payroll costs. And then we continue on accounting for elements of labor. We have other elements when we're talking about the labor. Apart from what we have done, we also have additional elements that are very important when we are accounting for labor. The first thing is employees' taxes. Employees' taxes. Elements of accounting for labor. These are the main things that we account when we're talking about labor, but we also have elements that are also very important, that they're also part of the calculations of labor. These are employee tax, employee tax. You cannot compute total payroll, allocate. Yes, you can compute and allocate, but you are not going to give the whole amount to that particular. You are going to deduct tax. How much tax is due for this person? So you are going to subtract tax from the computation that you have done. And this is a regulation that you cannot escape. You have ever heard that people complain to say, hey, but in Sonko ndo uhuru. People have ever said that, despite you are young, you all have maybe heard about that. People complaining, in Sonko wagula. They are complaining because tax is deducted from their salaries or wages. So those are some of the things. Employees are required by law to withhold from their employees' earnings, state income, and this is called the payee, P-A-Y-E, payee, meaning pay as you earn. Pay as you earn. You are supposed to give out tax basing on how much you get. If you remember correctly, last time when we started the same topic, because we are just continuing this time, we said that, for example, Loveness is getting 2 million. And then Kalivute, you are getting how much? I thought so, because always you want to be more than Loveness. That is what I know. Banda, how much are you getting? 3 million. So these 3 people are not going to give in the same tax. They are going to give in basing on pay as you earn. It means this one is going to give in more tax than him. And him is going to be more than him, than her. So these are the things that we should really know, that it's part of the labor element calculations. We cannot escape. It's a bylaw, it's a law that we should deduct tax. Again, the other element is that apart from employee tax, we also have employer tax, and the fringe benefit costs. So these also are supposed to be accounted for when we're talking about labor. So we are saying that total payroll costs generally exceed the cost of gross wages or salaries. Employers are required to make provisions for surveillance pay. The purpose is to provide funds that can be used to pay employees in the event of terminated employment. When you are going to start work, you are going to know this. Come again?
You say that employers,
yes,
they are receiving,
they are receiving what?
when they are receiving they get tax to salary.
We are saying the second element of accounting for labor is employers' tax and fringe benefit costs. Okay, fringe benefit costs. What is there is that's why I was saying when you grow up, you are going to understand. When they are calculating salaries for people, they sometimes deduct pension for them. It's for you young people, not for us elderly, because we overworked and we are already receiving our pension. But those that are young, once employed, they are supposed to be deducted tax. Deducted pension. That pension, for example, as we have already had an example, you can get, let's say, a certain percentage to say 5%, should be deducted from her salary to pension. But the employer also has another contribution that goes to him or to her. This is what they're saying. You get the point? For example, we are going to deduct loveness 5%. Okay? If it's 10% loveness, the employer is going to give him, let's say, 2.5 in addition to what loveness is being deducted. So, for example, for her is how much? How much is this?
2 million.
2 million. That's the 5%, not the 10. This is 2 million total. The 5% is how much? Not 100,000, because 10% is 200,000. 5% should be 100,000. Okay? So it means 100,000 is going to be deducted from love. But the employer has to give him 2.5%, which means, let's say in this case, it's going to be additional 50,000. So the pension for this one is going to be 150. I just want you to understand what they mean when we are there saying the employer's tax. They also contribute. Okay? So this is what happens, that you should at least know the understanding of what they mean. And then we are saying again, there are shift premiums. Other jobs, they go in shifts. They say this one in the morning. We already have examples of secondary schools this time, they go in shifts, is it? Yes. We have also jobs like that, that other people should go maybe between 3 p.m. to that amount time. So these are what they are saying, that also those are supposed to be accounted for so that we should know how we can allocate. And then we have overtime premiums. All these we explained last time, but just to remind you, because we were on holiday of 1 week, we should uh, now understand overtime premium. We said that the overtime premiums can be there. People can work overtime, whereby it's additional to what they are paid. And we said that when we're talking about overtime, we have 3 treatments. When we're talking about overtime, we have 3 treatments of that. This is on elements of accounting. Overtime. Overtime premium. We have 3 treatments. First treatment of the overtime, we said that when we are talking about the first treatment, we are looking at, let's say, a random scheduling of the job. And this is where we say that today we are not going home, we are going to work. It wasn't scheduled, but it has just come, maybe because of other things that they have seen that we are supposed to work. So that's overtime. The second one is when overtime results from the requirement of a specific job that we did. Maybe it can be a random or a normal overtime, has not satisfied us, that we want it to be redone. So that is the second treatment of overtime. How are we going to do that? And the third one is if overtime resulted from a negligence or poor workmanship. Other people, they don't work according to what is required, as sometimes you do when you expect a very good result, but you see somebody is not that. So exactly, even when we're talking about overtime premium, other do their work negligently. So as a result, it means you are supposed to take the job where it is to where it's supposed to be. So this is another way of treatment. And they're saying for the treatment number 1, the overtime premium has to be charged on factory overheads overtime, because it's not directly to the job, because it's just random. Okay, so it's just an overhead. It's not part of the product. It's indirect. And then the second one, the treatment number 2, they say it should be charged to the overtime itself, because it's something that we want. It's direct to the work that is supposed to be done. The third one, they're saying it has to be charged to loss account. Why? Because it means we are doing the work twice. Somebody was supposed to work, and yet he has not. He has done it negligently. It means when we are going to pay the people that have worked to reach where it is, it means that has been taken, it has to be taken to the losses account, because we are losing, we are not making anything. The time was misused by somebody. And then we talked about idle time. We said that idle time can be paid. Idle time can be paid. What is idle time? Maybe I should ask for the second time. What is idle time?
Say it's when the employees they should work, but they are not working. Maybe because of the machine is not working or something, but they should work.
Now, what did we say idle time is? The time that workers are not working. Khadija?
Because the machine is not operating.
Good. Idle time, when we just hear the name itself, you tend to say somebody's just idling, just sitting like that. Idle time is not all idle time that is paid. When you are just idling, you cannot be paid. But when you are just idling, because maybe the machines are broken down, they've gone for on maintenance, or sometimes they are, come again? Thank you so much. The common known blackouts that we have. Somebody cannot work if you are working on a machine that uses electricity. You're just going to idle. Magesi tukulibe. Ngati mena magwira ntchito achigayo paseri. Yes, there's no electricity. So why am I going to work? How am I going to work? So these are some of the things that we have to know, that idle time, it's not always that it cannot be paid. It can be paid if only there's that reason that, let's say, machines are not working, or else there's a reason why idle time has been made. For example, you can say that maybe they're planting a new machine, they were removing the one that was buggered. That it means you cannot, you are waiting for the engineer to plant the machine and try it. So all those are some of the things that we should account for when we're talking about accounting for labor. Any questions up to this juncture? Zuguvega? Sometimes you say that, but when I can ask a question, you fail. Okay. Let's continue a bit with these few minutes that are remaining, so that we should start from somewhere next time. We talked about salaries. What is the other name of salaries? Remuneration. Great. So remuneration methods are the ones that we want to look into. Remuneration methods. We are talking about accountability and control of labor costs. And now we want to know the methods of how we account for the salary, or methods that we depend when we are paying salaries. salaries have got methods which depends on the qualification of the one that is being paid. That's why we want you to graduate with a degree and out there get a salary, a better salary. So we are saying that when we're talking about payment of remuneration, we are talking about the pay basing on the qualification that someone has. So the first method that they use is the time-based pay. Time-based pay. Time-based pay. What do you think is time-based pay in connection of salaries? Time-based pay?
Credits, I mean, on hours.
Come again?
Credits, I mean, on hours.
Okay, the other one?
Payment are based on hours you have
Okay, others they pay weekly, others monthly, so the payment should be different.
And but talking of a salary, that is a fixed remuneration methods. And
According to the plan that
mhm.
that here those receiving the kind of work, the hours in the end of the month.
Okay. So we're saying a salary, a wage is paid hourly. A salary is paid fixed. You get the point? You don't work for hours when we're talking about a salary, a remuneration. We're not. Because only wages are paid hourly. So we're saying a salary is based on no tangible output. Because they employed you to say, Kalivute, you are going to be getting 300,000. Okay? Whether you come early or you do what, you are going to be paid 300,000. That's how it is when we're talking about salary. Come again.
So where is qualification?
The qualification is the first thing that they see you. They say, okay, Kalivute is a degree holder. How much is supposed to get? 300,000. Mavi is a standard 8 holder. How much is he going to get? 50,000. John is an MCE holder. How much is he going to get? He's going to get 100,000. So this is what is there. The first qualification is the qualification that you have. That's why even if you go and work now, they're going to say that what you feel you can get is a standard, a Form 4, what? Pay. Because you don't have a certificate that is a qualification that you have a degree. Even if you will say, no, I'm in second year, they will say, yes, you're in second year, but where is your paper? Come again? Tinapunzira? Come again? You have never learned about this? Iwe unatuka tu katika tayamba ndile.
I'm not complaining that I've lost
Okay. No, yes, it's in the book. It's the book. In fact, it's on labor. We're talking about methods of remuneration. No, what we learned was tinangopitirira pang'ono apa, right? Sitinapite kutali. Mosa majomba. Oh. So, in fact, why I started from labor, because despite we learned, because of the holiday of 1 week plus an exam holiday, 2 weeks, maybe you can't remember. That's why I said I should go over just to let us pick up properly to finish up the, let's say, the topic that is accounting for and the control of labor. Then anapita kulanta ndani momuno bodza iwe unapita kuti ndiye iwe umakumbukira Banda, I went to Blantyre. For a what? Oh, okay, for the tournament for the school. You know, sometimes he's cruel, this one. How can he mention about that? He just wanted me to know. Oh, okay. So that is what we are saying, that we just want us, I think we talked about them, but because we forgot a bit, that's why I said we should go over a bit on that. So we are saying that time-based pay, where we are talking about where there is no tangible output which can act as a basis for measuring the performance of each employee. Okay. Just because of your qualification, you have the same qualification with Banda, it means you are going all be getting the same amount. Despite Banda works too much and you don't, you are still going to get that. So no measurement of the activities that you base. No, when we are talking of a salary, that can be considered in the long run. If they see that no, Kalivute is just taking out our money, then they're going to say, we are not going to renew our contract. We are saying we are stopping. You get the point? Yes. They will not tell you, but they were going to say later to say, no, Kalivute. That's what people complain to say, contract younger, they have not renewed. I don't know why. Because they have seen that you are not producing. There is no output out of you. They will say then, why? We will continue with the band. Because band gets a 300,000 or a 400,000 because he's a degree holder, but Kalivute is not. So they are not going to separate, or they're not going to make you sign different amounts despite you don't work properly. You get the point? That's why we are saying, when we're talking about the salary, time-based pay, there's no performance measurement of each employee. So that is what we can say. And then they're saying to say, when we are talking about time-based pay, despite that, it means everything has already been done to you. Fixed time that is there for you, that you should come at 7:30 and go out at 5 p.m. So that is the basis for you to work. Any questions? Any questions? Kalivute? No questions? James, how maybe you learned about them? maybe come up.
Of course, I went down around like in Ireland.
Okay, yes, yes.
What have you before this?
What have we learned? They are the same things that we learned last time. We talked about direct and indirect labor. That time we're here. Good. And then we talked about um, accounting elements. Accounting elements. Maybe before accounting elements, we talked about the three accounting for labor that we talked about. Timekeeping. What other? Can you tell, James? Payroll, computation of payroll. The other thing, allocation of payroll, where we said that timekeeping, whenever we are talking about the accounting for labor, they are going to let you record your time in, because they want to account how many hours you have worked. And this, we said, examples are in the banks. Okay. Sometimes in offices, they say, please, when you are in, you should write in a book that this is the time I've been in. That's timekeeping. Computation of payroll, we said, they calculate based on how much you are getting per hour, then multiply with that. That's computation of payroll. I remember that time, I gave an example before mid-semester, I gave in all of us being on the board to say, if this one gets that and Karivute wanted to get a more payment than Rav, if I remember correctly. We calculated that on the board. And then we said the allocation, each one can come from, let's say, different department altogether or cost center. It means that amount that you are going to be paid is going to be allocated or subtracted from your cost center. Then we said other elements that are also there for us to account for. We said employees tax. Everybody's deducted tax. It's a law by government. Okay, that is again accounted for when we're talking about labor costs. Again, we have fringe benefits, other things that are subtracted from your salary that they are going to say, for example, pension. They are going to subtract. We talked that a lot when we had talked about pension, to say, in the book they have said employers' taxes and fringe benefits. We say that you can be deducted a pension, a certain fraction or a certain percentage, but the employer also is going to pay you a certain percentage in addition to what you are subtracted. The other thing that we said again was the shift premiums. Other works in other organizations, they have shifts. I gave in an example, simple example that you see these days, that secondary schools, they have shifts. Yes, that good is good. While the secondary school is exactly the same as the labor shift premium, whereby they're going to say, you are going to come from 7:30 to 12. And other people are going to come from mainly in Kanengo. As I stay in area 25, we see that people come back from work 5 o'clock, but others are taken from 5 o'clock to go there overnight. So those are shift premiums that you are supposed to calculate again for you in connection of accounting and control for labor. Then we said we have overtime premiums. Overtime premiums we have over time 3 treatments that we had talked about. That sometimes it can be random. As we are here, they are going to say, we are in accounts office, they're going to say, today, you 6 people are not going to go home, you are going to be working, okay? That, when you are going to be paid, has to be charged to overheads account. Why? Because it's not direct your job, they have just been told randomly that you should work, okay? The second treatment is that it's a scheduled thing that you're supposed to go overtime. It means it's going to go to the cost center that you are from. That's a direct one. But this first one is indirect. The third one is that they say, because of negligence, you didn't work to the brim. Then they're going to say, because he doesn't know what to do, then we're going to do overtime for the job to be taken to where it's supposed to be. That, when charged, the amount is not going to be given to your cost center. It's going to go to the losses, because this time has already been misused by somebody. So it means we are losing. So it's going to be charged losses. Okay. Then we continue to say we have idle time. In normal cases, when we hear the word idle, it means you are just seated. But idle time, in other cases, they're paid. How? They're paid because sometimes we can have, let's say, machine breakdown. But you're supposed to work. It means despite you're just idle, you're going to be paid for that. Okay? Sometimes they've bought, let's say, a new machine. They're fixing a new machine. This other one has been uprooted. It means you're going to be what? You're going to be paid. So idle time is not always that it's not going to be paid. You can be paid based on the reason why you are idle. Okay? Then that's when we came to remuneration methods. That's the first one that we are saying. Remuneration method, we have time-based pay. That's where we have stopped. I think I've explained exactly what I did to your friends. Thank you so much. Good. No, that's my duty for him to understand, because if he doesn't understand, I'll ask a question there and then he doesn't answer. So this is the end of our class. Thank you so much. Your papers are going to be given, I think, next meeting, because